Hello everyone, it's Brett here, Lionheart84, and it's now we're well into March. It's time to start looking at my container grown persimmons and deciding which ones can stay in their containers for another year and which ones need to be potted up a little bit and need some light sort of spring maintenance. Now this particular one here is Nikita's gift, and I've got this in one of the smaller containers that I've got my persimmons in, and in fact you can now see, if you look underneath, that the roots are coming out the bottom. So it's time to repot this. It's a good time to repot them when they're still fairly dormant. So you can probably see it's just starting to get some buds coming out on it now, which could of course be affected by particularly cold weather. Now they don't really need any pruning as such when they're small plants like this or container growing. All it really consists of doing is, if you've got clearly dead tiny little thin branches like these that are dead, I would probably consider what I'm doing, removing those. And if you've got any branches that are crossing, this is actually forming quite a nice bowl shape, so there's sort of vase shapes, there's no problem. But looking at this growth here, not sure, but this one, yeah. Now this branch here, unfortunately, looks like it's dead all the way. Yeah, it's dead all the way to the end, so that may as well be removed. I'm not going to quite remove it flush to the stem, but that, for whatever reason, that's died back. All of these other branches here appear to be okay. There's a couple of very spindly dead twigs on it on these branches up here. The plant's actually looking reasonably healthy now. And if you had any branches that were crossing, I'd probably recommend taking those out. But what I'm going to do is see if I can get it out without disturbing the roots too much, because one thing persimmons don't like is to have their roots disturbed. So whereas normally I tease all the soil loose on these plants when I repot them, I don't normally try to do that too much with persimmons, because it can really set them back when you repot them. Now I'm going up one pot size, and if I can show you, I've drilled a lot of extra drainage holes in the bottom of these, because persimmons do like to have good drainage. Although they will take damp soil, when they're grown in containers it's more of a risk because the water can't drain away. So I'm going to give it a good, it's going up basically one pot size. This one here is a 40cm pot. Can't remember the litres or gallons capacity on it, but I'd hazard a guess it's about probably about a 3-gallon pot, so probably about something like about 13 or 14. I think these might be 14 litres. So I'm going up one pot size. So let's get that done nice and quickly. Watch. I put a nice free draining compost in. I put a very small amount of chicken manure in with the compost mix, but only a very small amount, because persimmons do not like heavily fertilised soils. It's not too much of a problem at this time of the year, but if you fertilise them when they're flowering, they tend to drop all the flowers and any embryo fruits. Now this is obviously too young to fruit and flower, this plant, but let's see if we can get him out. That's interesting. Now I put a load of drainage stuff in the bottom of this one, which has probably helped with the drainage, but may have stopped the roots coming through. So what I'm going to try and do is get them all. I don't need those anymore now, because the plant's a lot more established. It gives me an idea, if I can keep a good idea then, and see what's happening with the drainage on the plant. So I'm going to take the loose soil off the top, because I don't need that. But as I said, I'm not actually planning to. I'm not going to disturb the roots too much. I'm just going to tease the sides a little bit so they can get into the new compost. Well, the one thing about persimmons is, if you're not aware, is they have black roots. So you can sometimes look at the plant and think it's got no roots on it at all, or that the roots have all rotted, and that's not the case, because the roots are actually black, which is unusual. So I won't be filming all of my persimmons as I do this, just one or two, because obviously if I've got 20 odd persimmons, I don't want to be filming 20 videos showing the same process. It's extremely boring and completely unnecessary. But I just thought I'd show one of them being lightly trimmed and repotted. It was in a pot that was too small, and that's my Nikita's gift. My mind's gone blank. I can't even remember if that's. I think that's a cross between an Asian and an American. I couldn't for a moment remember if that was Asian or American, but I think it's a cross. So that's nicely repotted now. Should be okay in that pot now for at least a couple of years, and I'll gradually work through my other persimmons in the next 2 or 3 weeks and see which ones need doing. I'm going to do away with the stick now. I forgot to mention there's no need for that little cane. The plant's in a pot and it's not tall, so there's almost zero risk of it blowing over or picking up any stem damage, and you're better off without the stick, because obviously when you've got the stick in there it can deserve the roots, so it can it can disturb the roots is what I was trying to say. So that's my persimmon Nikita's gift. Just giving it a little trim back, just to remove any dead little branchlets on it, and hopefully that's going to take off this year. Fresh compost, and we'll see how it does, and within a year or so should be starting to get flowers on it. So thank you everybody for watching the video, much appreciated. Please give me a thumbs up. Please remember to share it with anyone you think might be interested in growing persimmons. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, and of course remember to click on the bell if you'd like to be updated on this and my other plants throughout the summer. I'll catch up with you soon. Brett out for now.